All right, the problem we discussed last night has this, right? It's 4x plus 4, and then ax minus 1, negative x squared, and positive 4. And then the problem, it tells you that a is a constant value. A is a constant, and constant, as a reminder, just means a number. And then it says all of this whole thing is equivalent to, if you remember what equivalent means, it means the same as equals. And it says it's equivalent to bx. So all of this stuff equals bx. Okay. Well, first we have to put this problem together. Oh, and it also says b is a constant as well. So b is just a number as well. All right, so let's put this thing together. Let's expand it a little bit, and we can do this through FOIL, where we have 4x times ax. Remember, this is just representative of a number. If this were the number 3, we would do 4 times 3, and then x times x, okay? So since it's not a number, we're going to do 4 times a to get 4a, and x times x, which is going to give us x squared. So this whole thing right here is going to be 4a x squared. All right, now we have 4x times negative 1, which gives us negative 4x. We have positive 4 times ax, same thing here. If this were a 3, we'd do positive 4 times 3 and then carry the x with us. So we have positive 4 times ax, which is going to give us positive 4ax. And positive 4 times negative 1 is going to give us negative 4. And then we still have all this stuff left over. So minus x squared plus 4. All equal to bx still. Okay. So let's group our terms. Well, first of all, one thing that's sticking out to me is this and this. If I have negative 4 and positive 4, those two just cancel out. All right. Now I'm going to group all my x squareds kind of together. And I'm going to say 4a x squared minus x squared. And then I'm going to group all my x's together. I have this one, and I have that one. So I'm going to call it plus 4ax minus 4x. And this is all still equal to bx. All right, now I'm going to group my terms even in smaller groups because I want to isolate my x's. I want to get them kind of out of the way so I can focus on what a is equal to. So if I just looked at these two terms in a group, if I put parentheses around these two terms, what can I factor out? What do they have in common? Well, they have this x squared in common. If I factor out an x squared, or if I divide both of these individually by an x squared, what would be left? Well, if I took x squared out of 4ax squared, I would have 4a left. And if I took x squared, positive x squared, out of negative x squared, I'd be left with a negative 1 as a placeholder. Okay? Now I also have these that I'm going to group together. If I want to put them in terms of x, because I could factor out an x, I would say plus 4a minus 4 all times x is equal to bx. Okay. Now, this is where you kind of have to use your noggin a little bit. We're looking for bx, not x squared. We're looking for bx. So we're going to set these up as two different problems. We're going to set this portion because we want it to disappear, right? We want this whole thing to disappear. We don't want x squared. It's not part of our answer. So we want this x squared to disappear. What's the only number that we could multiply x squared by to make it disappear? Well, it's 0. So we're going to set this equal to 0. What value of a is going to help this become 0 so I can get rid of my x squareds? Let's figure it out. 4a minus 1, and we want it to equal 0. Well, we're going to add 1 to both sides. And we're going to get 4a is equal to 1. Ooh, we don't even need to solve for a. I mean, we can, but we don't even need to solve for a. We see that 4a is equal to 1. Well, if 4a is equal to 1, then what can I do? I can substitute in a 1 for 4a. 1 is equal to 4a. So this 4a must also equal 1. So now I have 1, instead of 4a, I have 1 minus 4 is equal to x, times x is equal to bx. Okay? Let me backtrack a little bit. How did we get rid of all this stuff? We found out what this has to equal to become 0. If it's 0, there goes our x squared, and we're left with just the rest of this information. We found out that 4a would have to equal 1, so we substituted in a 1 for 4a, and now we can solve. Okay, we have our x right here. So what this is telling us, if you want to cancel it out, we can divide by x on both sides. But what this is telling us is this front value, b, must be equal to 1 minus 4. Well, what is 1 minus 4? 1 minus 4 is equal to negative 3. So b must equal negative 3. 1 minus 4, negative 3, x equals bx, divide by x, and b equals negative 3. Okay? I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, please text me.